We've got to move beyond it, and if they are upset because there's real economic sanctions and they feel that now they won't shop in Sacramento, or which is happening a lot, I think that's more of a knee-jerk reaction for most people. There's not going to be a huge economic impact for Arizona by the city of Sacramento saying we're not doing business there. The reality of it is, and I said this earlier, there's already tons of people around this country that are saying we're not going to Arizona. So economic sanctions are happening in Arizona today. People are canceling conventions. They're canceling conferences that they've had and set up, and a lot of people are saying we're not going to Arizona. I don't think that's good for anybody. So for me, I want to swiftly create an environment where, as I go back to Washington and we're talking to folks from the Homeland Security and the Justice Department saying, look, you need to weigh in really quickly, because if you can, then certainly if you bring down a law, then it will basically push Arizona's law aside, because that law should really come from the federal government. We can't have all these different states coming up with all these different laws when it comes to borders. It should be a federal law that we all abide by, and I will be the first to admit that we did not move swiftly enough when it comes to Washington.
And let me just add a PS to this. We've almost taken a segment on this again, but the vote was 6-1. The one was Robbie Waters. And we're talking about representation here, and I know people say, well, this doesn't represent me. These are the people that were voted in, and Robbie Waters, who was the lone vote against the bill. What happened to him on election night?
Yeah, Robbie Waters did not win on election night, and a couple people who spoke yesterday said that. They were very clear and said, we didn't support you, and this is partly the reason why. But I'm a huge fan of Robbie Waters. I appreciate his boldness. I appreciated him being the one dissenting vote. I appreciated him saying, look, here's what I believe, here's why, and I agreed with half of what he said. I think you played his comments before on here, and I do agree with a lot of what Robbie says, but I think we needed to go a little farther, and we are where we are, and we need to move past it and get back to business.
Well, speaking of getting back to business, and I guess we'll just kind of preview it and then talk more about it. We have this rail yard situation with Thomas Enterprises and foreclosure, and I was asking you, wow, did this catch everybody off guard? Anybody have a clue about this? I mean, apparently the payments haven't been made for a year, since last July.
I for one, was really surprised. But many were not surprised. In fact, people have been telling me for months, we think this is going to happen at some point. But I wasn't aware of that. So I found out a day before. I got a chance to have an extensive conversation with the people from Inland who basically defaulted. And the most important part, Kitty, it sounds worse than it is. This project is going to go forward. The city's committed. Inland said we will honor all of our financial obligations and otherwise to push this project forward. Inland is negotiating, or will be negotiating, with Thomas, and maybe they'll come up with, Thomas will make their payment, maybe everything will be all good, maybe they'll come up with a joint partnership. But either way, Inland's committed. In worst case scenario, if it's not Thomas, Inland said they will bring in a master developer, because they know the magnitude of this project, what it means to us in Sacramento, the fact that there's a lot of dollars that are resting on this project. We've gotten a lot of funding from state and federal when it comes to infrastructure, bridges, and roads, and this will be one of the largest infill projects, and we're employing people. We're putting people to work, and that's most important right now.
Okay, and I'll ask you more about Inland America when we come back. It's Mayor Kevin Johnson there. It's 346 at KFBK Safe Credit Union, bringing us Dana Hess and the Jackson Ranch Rio Casino and Hotel traffic.
I think with that bankruptcy, we got railroaded. You know what I'm saying, Kitty?
I get it.
Okay. I always like it when you get it. Westbound 80 Douglas Boulevard off-ramp. We got a vehicle stalled in the middle of the ramp, and that's about all we know. Northbound I-5 just south of Seamus Avenue. Metal ladder in the slow lane. At Cameron Park Drive on-ramp to westbound 50. We got somebody out in the lanes there. You got to watch out for. CSP's got to go have a little talk with them. Sunrise Boulevard at the American River Bridge. Vehicle hit a motorcyclist there, or vice versa. Anyway, this is northbound, and we got some traffic backed up there because of that, and a little bit of a dispute, too, as I said earlier, because the driver of the van wouldn't give the motorcyclist his driver's license back. So things might escalate there. I'm not sure. Eastbound Cap running a little slow right now between 50 and E Street. Also, we're getting some sensors showing a lot of activity between Florin Road and about a mile before Mac Road. The speeds there down to below 25 miles per hour. And that's pretty much it. But if we're not seeing what you're seeing, call a KFBK Jim Boyce Tacos traffic tip line at 565-1530. News Talk 1530 KFBK. It's safe.